I'm 68 years old, raised 3 kids in this house, worked 40 years with my hands building half the porches in this town, buried my wife Sarah 6 months back. I thought I knew what grief felt like. Then I threw a birthday party for my grandson Matthew, turned 10 that Saturday, and invited my whole family, cleaned the house top to bottom, bought decorations, ordered his favorite cake, chocolate with vanilla frosting. 2 o'clock came and went. 3 o'clock. 4. Not one person showed up. Matthew sat on those porch steps in his new shirt, watching the driveway like maybe if he stared hard enough, his parents would appear. Around 4:30, he looked up at me with those 10-year-old eyes and asked, "Grandpa, did I do something wrong?" I had no answer for him. Turns out, I had no idea what my children were capable of. But I was about to find out. Sunday morning, I found Matthew in the workshop. I'd fallen asleep in the chair around 2 a.m., still dressed, coffee gone cold on the porch rail. When I woke up, my neck was stiff and the sun was already climbing. The boy was standing by my workbench, running his small fingers over the half-finished toy truck I'd been making him. Didn't hear me come in. "Hey, buddy." He turned around fast. His eyes were red. "Grandpa, are you okay? You were crying yesterday." Lying to a 10-year-old is harder than it sounds. "Just tired, Matthew, that's all." He nodded, but he didn't believe me. Smart kid. Takes after his grandma that way. "You want some breakfast? I can make pancakes. Mom's coming to get me at 9. He picked at a splinter on the workbench. "She said she's sorry about yesterday. She said her car broke down." Her car broke down. That's what they told him. I drove Matthew home at 9. Amy met us at the door, makeup perfect, hair done, smiled like nothing happened. "Thanks, Dad." "Sorry about the party. Transmission just died on me, you know how it is." I wanted to ask why she didn't call, why none of them called, why her brothers had the same miracle car troubles on the same day. But Matthew was standing right there, and he'd been hurt enough. "Sure, honey, these things happen." She closed the door before I could say goodbye to the boy. Monday morning, I sat in May's diner, same booth I've occupied for 6 months now. Every morning since Sarah died, 5:30 a.m., black coffee and 2 eggs over easy. May 70, owned this place for 35 years, knows everybody's business, keeps most of it to herself. She refilled my cup before I asked, the way she always does. "You look like hell, Jack." "Didn't sleep great." She slid into the booth across from me, which meant she had something to say. May doesn't sit unless it's serious. "Your kids visit much?" The question hit harder than it should have. "They're busy. You know how it is." "Uh-huh." She sipped her own coffee, watching me over the rim. "I asked because I saw Amy at the grocery store Saturday afternoon, around 3 o'clock, right when she was supposed to be at my house with her broken-down car." "May, I'm not trying to start trouble, Jack. I'm just saying what I saw." My phone buzzed. Group text from Robert, my oldest. "Sorry we missed it, Dad. Work emergency. We'll make it up to Matthew." 10 seconds later, David. "Yeah, sorry. Sick kid. You know how it goes." Then Amy. "So sorry again. Let's do a makeup dinner next Sunday. All of us. Robert's place." I stared at those messages. The timing. The identical tone. Like they'd coordinated. May was still watching me. "They want to do a makeup dinner," I said. "Next Sunday." "That's good?" Her voice said it wasn't good. "That'll be nice." "Yeah." She stood up, squeezed my shoulder once. "Jack, you're a good man. Don't forget that." I didn't know what she meant then. I spent the week in the workshop trying to finish Matthew's truck. My hands weren't steady. Kept having to resand sections where I'd pressed too hard, left gouges in the wood. Sarah's photo sat on the corner of the workbench. 45 years we were married. She always knew what to say to the kids, how to handle family politics. I just built things and stayed out of it. Probably should have paid more attention. Tuesday afternoon, I called all 3 kids, left voicemails confirming Sunday dinner. Said I'd bring something. Sarah's apple pie recipe. I'd been making it since she got too sick to bake. Wednesday, Robert texted back. "Sounds great, Dad. 5 p.m. Thursday, David. "Okay." Friday, Amy called. actually called, which was rare. "Hey, Dad. Just wanted to make sure you're doing okay." "I'm fine, honey. I know it's been hard since Mom." Her voice got soft, the way it used to when she was little and wanted something. "Have you thought about what you're going to do? With the house, I mean. It's a lot of space for one person. The house. 4 acres and a workshop. Sarah and I bought it in 1980. I'm managing fine. I'm just worried about you rattling around in there alone. What if you fall? What if something happens? Amy, I'm 68, not 88. I know, I know. I just care about you, that's all." A pause. "We all do. We want to make sure you're taken care of." After she hung up, I sat on the porch until dark. The screen door was unlatched, moving in the breeze. Used to drive Sarah crazy, that sound. Now I leave it that way on purpose. Sounds like someone's coming home. Sunday morning I baked the pie, put on a clean shirt, drove to Robert's house at 4:30, pie warm in the passenger seat. His subdivision is new construction, all the houses look the same. I pulled up at 4:55. Every light in his house was on. I could see shapes moving past the windows. I hear voices, laughter. I recognized David's truck in the driveway, Amy's Honda, Robert's BMW, all of them, together. I sat in my truck across the street and waited for someone to notice I'd arrived. 5 o'clock came and went. 5:30. At 6, my phone buzzed. "Robert. Sorry, Dad. Can't do tonight after all. Mom's estate lawyer needs us to sign some papers. You understand." Through the window, I watched my grandson, David's boy, not Matthew, run past carrying a plate of food. They were having the family dinner. Without me. Tom Patterson, Robert's neighbor, walked past with his dog. Saw me sitting there, waved, confused. "Jack, you coming in?" I couldn't answer. Couldn't move. "You okay?" "Just leaving," I managed. I drove home 10 miles over the speed limit, ran a stop sign, didn't care. The pie slid off the seat at a turn, hit the floor, didn't stop to pick it up. When I got home, May had left a voicemail. "Jack, honey, call me when you can." I deleted it. And sat on the porch until 2 a.m. with that cold coffee again and one thought circling my head like a vulture. What did I do to make my children hate me this much? Monday morning, I didn't go to May's diner. Couldn't face her knowing look, her questions I couldn't answer. Tuesday, I drove to the grocery store at 10 a.m. instead of my usual Wednesday afternoon, trying to avoid people. Small towns, everybody knows everybody's schedule. I was in the cereal aisle when I saw her. Linda, Robert's wife. Her cart was half full. She was reaching for something on the top shelf. Our eyes met. She looked right at me. I saw recognition flash across her face. Then she turned her cart around and walked the opposite direction, past the items she'd come for. Down the bread aisle, around the corner, gone. A kid stocking shelves, couldn't have been more than 17, stopped next to me. "You okay, sir?" I realized I'd been standing there frozen, box of cornflakes in my hand for God knows how long. "Yeah, fine." But I wasn't fine. I left my cart in the aisle and walked out. Wednesday morning, May was waiting on my porch when I came out to get the paper. 5:15 a.m., still dark, and there she sat on the steps with 2 thermoses of coffee. "Figured if you weren't coming to the diner, I'd bring the diner to you." I sat down next to her, took the thermos. May's coffee could strip paint, but it was honest coffee. We watched the sun come up in silence. Finally, "You want to tell me what happened Sunday?" "They had dinner without me." May didn't act surprised. "You see them through the window?" "Yeah. Jack, I need to show you something." She pulled a manila folder from her bag. "You remember I used to help Sarah balance her checkbook after her hands got too shaky from the treatments?" I nodded. "I kept copies of the statements. Hope you don't mind." "Figured you might need them someday." She opened the folder, handed me a stack of papers. "Look at these highlighted sections. Bank statements. Sarah's personal account, the one she used for household expenses. Monthly withdrawal, $2,000 to Robert Morrison. Monthly withdrawal, $2,000 to David Morrison. Monthly withdrawal, $2,000 to Amy Morrison. Every month, for 8 years." I went through the pages. June 2016. through March 2024, the month Sarah died. That's $6,000 a month, May said quietly. $72,000 a year. For 8 years. I did the math in my head. Couldn't speak. $576,000 total, May finished. She was supporting all three of them. The payments stopped. She pointed at the last entry. March 15th, the day she died. She never told me. Did you ask? I hadn't. Sarah managed the money. I worked. She handled the books. 45 years, that was our system. Why would she give them so much? May's face was sad. Honey, I don't think she was giving it to them. I think they were taking it. And she was too soft-hearted to say no. My hands were shaking. The coffee sloshed in the thermos. They weren't visiting Sarah because they loved her. They were visiting their income stream. May put her hand over mine. The month she died, they lost their allowance. Now they want the principal. The house, the land, the workshop. Everything Sarah and I built. Did Sarah know? May looked at me for a long moment. Sarah tracked every penny, Jack. She knew exactly what was going where. Then why didn't she tell me? Maybe she was ashamed. Maybe she thought she could fix it. Maybe she was trying to protect you. May stood up, folded the papers back into the folder. Or maybe she did tell you, and you're about to find out how. She left the folder on the porch rail. I sat there until the coffee went cold again, staring at those numbers. $576,000. My phone rang. Amy. I let it go to voicemail. 10 minutes later, she called again. On the fourth call, I answered. Dad, why aren't you picking up? I'm here, Amy. Oh, good. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about something. Do you have a minute? Through the phone, I heard a baby crying in the background. Matthew's little sister. What is it? Well, Mike and I, you remember Mike, right? My boyfriend? We've been looking at houses, and the market is just crazy right now. Everything's so expensive. I waited. And I was thinking, you've got all that land. 4 acres, right? And you're not using most of it. What if we built a little house on the back portion? You wouldn't even see it from your place. We could help you maintain the property, check on you, Amy, and it would be so great for the kids to grow up near Grandpa, and you wouldn't have to worry about being alone. Amy, stop. She stopped. I need to go. Dad, wait. I hung up, sat there on the porch, the sun fully up now, and thought about that grocery store, Linda seeing me and walking away like I was a stranger. Thought about Sunday dinner happening without me. Thought about $576,000. Thought about Amy's voice, sweet as honey, asking for my land. And I realized, May was right. They weren't neglecting me. They were circling. That afternoon, I was in the workshop when my phone buzzed. Text from Robert. Dad, we need to talk. About Mom's estate. There are some papers that need signing. Can we meet this week? I stared at that message for 10 minutes. The will had been simple. Everything split 3 ways. Already executed. Attorney had called me in April, said it was done. So what papers was Robert talking about? I called the attorney, got voicemail, left a message asking him to call me back. Then I went to Sarah's dresser, the one I hadn't been able to open since she died. Her jewelry box, her reading glasses, her crossword puzzle book, half finished from March, and at the back of the top drawer, under her scarves, a business card. James Park, estate attorney. I'd never heard of him. I called the number on the card. It rang twice. James Park. My name is Jack Morrison. You knew my wife, Sarah. A long pause on the other end. Mr. Morrison, I've been waiting for your call. My chest went tight. What do you mean? How much do you know? I know my children are planning something. I know Sarah knew. I need to know what she left me. Another pause. Mr. Morrison, can you come to my office tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock? What I have to show you, it's better in person. I'll be there. I hung up. Sat on Sarah's side of the bed, my side now, both sides now. and held that business card until the light outside went orange, then gray, then dark. If Sarah knew and she didn't tell me, that meant she was protecting me. From what? Tomorrow, I'd find out. I didn't sleep that night. Kept thinking about that business card, about Sarah hiding things from me. We'd been married 45 years. I thought I knew everything about her. Guess I was wrong about a lot of things. Around 11 p.m., headlights swept across my bedroom window. Car in the driveway. I went to the door. Amy stood on the porch, mascara smeared, shaking. "Dad, can I come in?" I should have said no. Should have sent her home. But she looked so much like she did at 16, when her first boyfriend broke her heart and she showed up crying in my workshop. Old habits die hard. "Come on in. I'll make some tea." We sat on the porch, her with chamomile, me with black coffee. The screen door moved in the breeze, creaking on its hinges. "I'm sorry for calling about the land," she said. "That was stupid." "It's okay." "No, it's not." She wiped her eyes. "Mike left me, Dad, 2 weeks ago, took half of everything. The divorce settlement was supposed to be fair, but his lawyer destroyed mine. I'm broke. I'm scared. And my brothers—" She stopped, looked down at her cup. "What about your brothers?" "They told me if I went to Matthew's party, they'd cut me out." My heart lifted. Just a fraction. "Cut you out of what?" "Mom's estate. They said there were things being divided, and if I didn't play along, I'd get nothing." She was crying for real now, shoulders shaking. "I should have come anyway. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm weak." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. "You're not weak, honey. You're in a hard spot. I hate that they control everything. Robert and Linda, they act like they own the world. David just goes along with whatever Robert says. And I'm the baby, so nobody listens to me." She looked up at me. "Dad, have you thought about protecting yourself?" "What do you mean?" "Your assets. The house, the land, the workshop. You're alone now. What if something happens to you? Who manages everything?" The tea in my cup had gone cold. "I'm managing fine, Amy. But you're 68. No offense, Dad, but what if you fall? What if you get sick? Do you have power of attorney set up? Have you updated your will since Mom died?" "Your mother and I set all that up years ago." "That was before she died, though. Things change. You should have someone you trust looking out for you." She reached over, squeezed my hand. "I worry about you in this big house alone. All this space. It's a lot for one person." I pulled my hand back, gentle but firm. "Amy, I've lived here for 44 years. I know every board that creaks, every pipe that leaks. I'm not going anywhere." "I'm not saying you should leave. I'm just saying maybe you need help. Maybe you need family around." "I appreciate that." She stood up to leave, hugged me at the door. "I love you, Dad." "I'm sorry I've been such a mess." I watched her taillights disappear down the driveway. Stood there for a long time, her words replaying in my head. "Have you updated your will? What if something happens to you? Maybe you need family around." May's text came through at 11:30. "Be careful. Hurt people, hurt people." I texted back. "She's different. She's just scared." May. "That's what makes her dangerous." I didn't reply. Thursday morning, I couldn't stop thinking about Amy's questions. The way she'd steered the conversation from apologizing to assets, from guilt to property. After Sarah died, I'd installed a baby monitor in the house. Not for a baby, just to hear sounds. The creak of floorboards, the hum of the refrigerator. Anything that made the house feel less empty. The receiver sat in my workshop, usually turned off. Thursday afternoon, I turned it on. Saturday, Amy came by for lunch. Said she wanted to spend time with her dad, make up for missing the party. We ate sandwiches at the kitchen table. She asked about the workshop, about orders I was working on, about how I was sleeping. Then, "Dad, I've been thinking, this house is worth a lot, you know. Real estate market's crazy. If you ever wanted to downsize, you could sell, get a condo, have money to travel, live easier." I sipped my coffee. "I'm not interested in selling. I'm not saying now, just eventually. You've worked hard your whole life. You deserve to relax." I relax in my workshop. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Okay, Dad, I'm just thinking out loud. She left around 2. I went to the workshop, pulled out the baby monitor receiver, hit playback. Amy's voice came through, clear as day. She was in my kitchen, on her phone. He's thinking about it. Robert's voice, tinny through the speaker. Thinking isn't doing. We need him to commit before he talks to anyone. Amy, if we push now, we can get him to sign papers. Meet me at his place tomorrow with the sale contract. We'll do it together. Robert laughed. Dad doesn't even know what he's worth. That lands 400,000 easy. Linda's voice in the background. He's got 10 years tops. We're supposed to wait and watch it fall apart? My inheritance rotting while he plays carpenter? Amy. I'll handle it. He trusts me. More laughter. Then the sound of Amy's car starting, pulling away. I sat in the workshop, the toy truck still unfinished on the bench, and listened to that recording 3 more times. He trusts me. Yeah, I had. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady. I knew what I had to do. But first, I needed to see what Sarah had left me. Sunday, I didn't go to church. First time I'd missed since Sarah's funeral. Couldn't face people. Couldn't pretend everything was fine. Reverend Paulson showed up at my door around 2 in the afternoon. Kind man, 67, been preaching at First Baptist for 30 years. Missed you this morning, Jack. Needed some time to think. He sat on the porch steps without asking. We watched the trees move in the wind. You know, he said after a while, sometimes the hardest part of faith isn't believing in God. It's accepting that people show you who they are, and believing them. I didn't ask how he knew. Small towns, word travels. What do you do when the people who show you who they are used to be your kids? Reverend Paulson looked at me. You love them, but you don't let them destroy you. There's a difference between turning the other cheek and lying down in the road. He stayed 20 minutes, didn't preach, didn't quote scripture, just sat. After he left, I pulled out James Park's business card. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I'd find out what Sarah knew, and then I'd decide what to do about it. That night, I tried to sleep, but couldn't. Kept thinking about Amy's voice on that recording. He trusts me, past tense now. Around 3 a.m., I got up, went to the workshop, turned on the light. The toy truck sat there, still needing one more coat of finish. I picked up the sandpaper and got to work. If nothing else, I could finish what I started. By dawn, the truck was done. Smooth as glass, wheels turning perfect. The best work I'd done in months. I set it on the shelf to dry and went inside to shower. 9 o'clock was coming. Time to find out what my wife knew that she couldn't tell me. James Park's office was in a professional building downtown, 3rd floor. The elevator smelled like lemon cleaner. Sarah had loved lemon, used it on everything. The door had his name in gold letters, James Park, estate attorney. Inside, the waiting room was empty. A woman at the desk, maybe 50, looked up when I entered. Mr. Morrison? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Park is expecting you. Go right in. The office was neat. Bookshelves lined with legal volumes, a desk with organized stacks of folders, 2 chairs facing each other. James Park stood when I entered. Korean-American, 58 maybe, kind eyes, careful hands. Mr. Morrison, thank you for coming. He gestured to a chair. Please, sit. I sat. My mouth was dry. Your wife came to see me 8 months before she passed. He slid an intake form across the desk. Sarah's signature at the bottom, shaky but unmistakable. The date, 1 week after her diagnosis. She said she'd discovered her children were planning something. She had no proof yet, just suspicion. She asked me to help her gather evidence. He pulled a manila envelope from his desk drawer. Thick, heavy. This is what we found. Inside, a thumb drive, legal documents, and a handwritten note. Sarah's handwriting, shakier than I remembered. Jack, if you're reading this, they showed you who they are. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while I was alive. I hoped I was wrong. I hoped they'd prove me wrong. They didn't. I'm sorry you have to carry this alone. Use this to protect yourself. Use it to protect Matthew. I love you. I'm so sorry. S. My vision blurred. I couldn't read the rest. Park handed me a tissue box. Waited. When I could speak. What's on the drive? Recordings. Your wife documented conversations over 6 months. Would you like to hear them? I nodded. Couldn't trust my voice. He inserted the drive into his computer, turned the speakers toward me. Hit play. Recording 1. Static. Then voices. Robert and Linda. In my kitchen. I recognized the acoustics. Robert. Once mom's gone, we move fast. Dad won't know how to handle finances. He'll be grieving. We push the incompetency angle. Get him declared unfit. Then we take over everything. Linda. I've done this before with my father. Get a doctor to say he's declining. Memory issues. Can't manage daily tasks. It works. Trust me. Robert. What about Amy and David? Linda. David's on board. He just wants his cut. Amy will do what we tell her. She always does. The recording ended. Park looked at me. There's more. Would you like to continue? Yes. Recording 2. A phone call. 3 voices. Conference call. David. I'm 2 states away. You guys handle the details. Just make sure I get my third. Amy. What if Dad fights it? Robert. He won't. He's too soft. Always has been. Besides, Amy, that's where you come in. You keep him calm. Make him think you're on his side. Amy laughed. That's easy. He always believed me over you guys anyway. Robert. Smart. He'll trust you right up until we have the papers signed. Recording 3. Amy talking to someone. A friend, maybe. I know it sounds bad, but it's not like Dad needs all that money. He just works in his shop, makes furniture nobody buys. We have kids to raise, mortgages, real lives. He'd want us to have it anyway. He's just too stubborn to admit it. Park stopped the playback. There are 40 more minutes. Text messages between the siblings coordinating. Financial documents showing they attempted to forge transfer papers on your wife's accounts. Bank records showing the monthly withdrawals you already know about. I couldn't breathe right. The room felt too small. Mr. Morrison, your wife also revised her will, without telling you. He slid papers across the desk. Official. Notarized. Sarah's signature. Everything, the house, the land, the accounts, goes into a trust for your grandson Matthew, managed by myself and a trustee your wife selected, May Hendricks. May. Of course, Sarah picked May. You retain life estate. You can live in the house until you pass, but your children receive nothing. Nothing? Nothing. Your wife was very clear. If they contest the will, these recordings become part of the court record, public. Their names in the paper. Their employers, their neighbors, everyone would know. I sat back in the chair. 45 years of marriage, and Sarah had done all this without telling me. She said you'd try to protect them. Park's voice was gentle. She said you'd make excuses, that you'd let them take advantage because that's who you are. She said she had to protect you from your own kindness. They were circling while she was dying. Yes. I looked at the papers, at Sarah's signature, at the date, 2 weeks before she passed. She fought cancer and fought to save me at the same time. Park didn't answer. Didn't need to. I stood up, legs unsteady. Can I take copies of everything? Of course, I have a packet prepared for you. He handed me a thick folder. Mr. Morrison, your children don't know about this will yet. The previous will, the one that split everything 3 ways, was never properly executed. This is the legal document. But they believe they're inheriting, so they think they just need to wait for me to die, or get you declared incompetent and take control sooner. The room tilted slightly. I gripped the edge of the desk. What do I do? That's up to you. The will is ironclad. If they try anything legal, I'll use the recordings to defend it. If they come after you directly, they already are. I told him about the baby monitor, about Amy's visit, about the recording I'd made. Park's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes. Keep that recording. It corroborates what your wife documented. They want to meet me this Friday. Robert said something about papers to sign. Don't sign anything. Bring me any documents they present. I nodded. Walked out of that office carrying a folder full of my children's betrayal and my dead wife's protection. In the parking lot, I sat in my truck for 20 minutes. Couldn't turn the key. Couldn't drive. Watched people walking by. Normal Monday, normal lives, going to lunch, running errands, talking on phones, my hands on the steering wheel, wedding ring catching the light. Sarah put that ring on my finger 45 years ago. Made me promise to love her, honor her, stay with her until death. I'd kept that promise. She'd kept hers too. Even from the grave, she was protecting me. But she'd carried this burden alone, all those months, knowing what our kids were planning, fighting cancer and fighting for me, and I'd been oblivious. The last thing she said to me, the day before she died, was, "I'm sorry." I'd thought she was apologizing for leaving. Now I knew better. She was apologizing for what I'd have to face alone. I finally drove home. Found a message on the machine from Robert. "Hey Dad, been thinking about you. We should talk about some things. Family things. How about Friday? Come by the house around 7. All of us want to see you." Family things. I knew what that meant now. I had 5 days to decide what to do. My phone buzzed. May. Saw your truck at the lawyer's office this morning. You okay? Me. Come over tonight. I need to show you something. May. I'll bring dinner. I went to the workshop. The toy truck sat on the shelf, finished dry. Perfect. I wrapped it in newspaper, set it aside. Then I pulled out the folder James Park had given me and started reading. Every recording, every document, every text message. By the time May arrived at 6, I'd been through it twice. She took one look at my face and didn't ask questions. Just unpacked a casserole, made coffee, sat down at my kitchen table. I played her the recordings. All of them. When they ended, May's jaw was tight. "That's the sound of vultures." How did I raise them like this? You didn't, Jack. They raised themselves. You just provided the material. She reached across the table. "I need to tell you something." "About my son." May stared at her coffee cup for a long moment before speaking. "My son did this to me 10 years ago. Said he needed 50,000 for a business. Some tech startup his friend was launching. He had the papers already drawn up when he asked. I should have seen that as a red flag." She took a sip, hands steady, but her voice wasn't. "I signed over my house as collateral. Figured I'd help my boy get started. The business failed in 6 months. He kept the money, never called again. Bank foreclosed. That's why I live above the diner now." "May, I didn't know." "I don't talk about it because I'm ashamed. Not that he did it, that I let him. That I still want to believe he was desperate, not cruel." She looked up at me. "You think you're being stupid, wanting to believe Amy's different?" "Yeah." "You're being human, but that recording you played, the one from your baby monitor, she's not different, Jack. She's just better at it." I pushed the folder across the table. "So what do I do? Sarah left me all this ammunition, but if I use it, I lose them forever." "Honey, you already lost them. You just haven't accepted it yet." The words hit like a hammer. "What about Matthew?" My voice cracked. "He's 10 years old. If I do this, he'll know his parents tried to rob his grandfather. What does that do to a kid?" May leaned forward. "What does it do to a kid to watch his grandfather get exploited? To learn that cruelty works? That family means nothing?" I hadn't thought of it that way. "Besides," May continued, "Sarah's will already handled it. Matthew gets everything. Amy doesn't have to know you exposed her unless she contests the will. You control the narrative. Park said if they fight it, the recordings become public record. Then they won't fight it. They're greedy, not stupid." May stood up, started clearing dishes. "Friday, you go to that meeting. You bring those recordings. You show them you know. You tell them it's over. And then what? Then you live with whatever comes next." She squeezed my shoulder. "But at least you'll be living honest." After she left, I sat at the kitchen table until midnight, the folder open in front of me, Sarah's handwriting on that note. "I'm sorry you have to carry this alone." But I wasn't alone. May was with me, and Sarah, even dead, Sarah was protecting me. I just had to be strong enough to use what she'd left me. Tuesday and Wednesday passed in a fog. I worked in the shop, took orders, sanded wood, tried to keep my hands busy. Wednesday afternoon, Matthew came for his weekly visit. Amy dropped him off, waved from the driveway, didn't come in. Mom says she's really busy, Matthew explained, running to the workshop. That's okay, buddy. We worked on a birdhouse together. I showed him how to measure twice, cut once. His small hands struggled with the tape measure, but he was careful, serious. Grandpa, why don't we have dinners anymore, like we used to with Grandma? My chest tightened. Sometimes families change, Matthew. People get busy. Are you and Mom fighting? No, buddy. Adults just have complicated stuff sometimes. He accepted this the way kids do, not understanding, but trusting. When Amy picked him up, I walked him to the car. She rolled down the window. Thanks, Dad. He loves spending time with you. Amy, can I ask you something? Her smile faltered. Sure. Friday. Robert's meeting. What's it about? Oh, just some estate stuff. Papers Mom left. Boring legal things. She waved her hand dismissively. Nothing to worry about. What kind of papers? I don't know exactly. Robert's handling most of it. He said you need to sign some transfer documents to make sure everything's properly distributed. Transfer documents. I'll be there, I said. She smiled wider. Great. 7 o'clock. See you then, Dad. I watched them drive away, Matthew waving from the back window. After they were gone, I went back inside and found the envelope Amy had accidentally left on my counter last week. The property assessment. Morrison residence land. Market value, $425,000. They'd already had it appraised. Thursday, Reverend Paulson stopped by again. I was on the porch, drinking coffee, staring at nothing. Jack, can I ask you something? Sure. If you had to choose between family peace and standing up for what's right, which would you pick? I looked at him. How'd you know that's what I'm struggling with? He smiled. Been doing this 30 years. I recognize the face. I don't know the answer. Pick the one you can live with. Sometimes peace built on lies costs more than truth built on ashes. He stood to leave. I'll pray for you today, Jack. Appreciate it, Reverend. After he left, I went to the workshop and pulled out a yellow legal pad. Started writing what I'd say Friday. Why did you do this? Crossed it out. I knew why. Greed, fear, entitlement. How could you betray your mother while she was dying? Crossed it out. They just make excuses. Finally wrote, your mother knew. She protected me. This ends now. Stared at those words for an hour. Crumpled the paper. Started again. Friday morning, 5 a.m., I couldn't sleep. Made coffee. Sat on the porch watching the sun come up. May's text came through at 6. Today's the day. You ready? Me. No. But I'm doing it anyway. May. That's called courage. Come by the diner after. I'll have pie waiting. At 10 a.m., I sent the group text. Family meeting. My house. 2 p.m. today. Required attendance. Need to discuss Mom's final wishes. Dad. 3 dots appeared under Robert's name. Typing. Then, we'll be there. David. Okay. Amy. See you then, Dad. That heart emoji made my stomach turn. I spent the next 4 hours setting up. Kitchen table. 4 chairs. The old radio and speaker system I used in the shop. Hauled it inside, set it on the counter, thumb drive ready. 4 envelopes, copies of Sarah's will, 1 for each child, 1 for me. My hands shook, placing them on the table. At noon, there was a knock. Reverend Paulson. Saw your truck. Thought you might need company. I'm okay, Reverend. Mind if I ask what you decided? I looked at him. Truth built on ashes? He nodded. The hard choice. The right one. He put his hand on my shoulder. I'll be praying. After he left, I sat at the table, stared at those envelopes. Sarah's handwriting on the note was still visible in my mind. Use this to protect yourself. Okay, Sarah, I will. At 1:45, I heard the first car. Robert's BMW pulling into the driveway. My heart hammered against my ribs. I stood up, straightened my shirt, took a breath. David's truck arrived, then Amy's Honda. Through the window, I watched them meet in the driveway. Linda was with Robert. They were talking, gesturing, confident. They thought they were coming to a signing. They had no idea what was waiting. The knock came at exactly 2 p.m. I opened the door. "Hey, Dad." Robert, all smiles. Linda behind him with a leather folder. David looking uncomfortable. Amy last, carrying a purse. "Come in." They filed into the kitchen, stopped when they saw the setup, the radio, the envelopes. "Dad, what's all this?" Robert's smile slipped. "Sit down." Something in my voice. They sat, all four of them, staring at me. Linda's folder was on her lap. I could see papers inside. Property transfer forms, probably. I didn't give them a chance to speak. I picked up the thumb drive, held it up. "Your mother recorded conversations 6 months before she died, while she had cancer." Robert's face went pale. "Dad, what are you—" "Shut up, Robert." He shut up. I'd never used that tone with him in his life. I inserted the drive into the radio, hit play. Robert's voice filled my kitchen. "Once Mom's gone, we move fast." The recording played for 3 minutes. Felt like 3 hours. Robert and Linda talking about getting me declared incompetent. David agreeing to take his cut and stay quiet. Amy laughing, actually laughing, about how easy it was to manipulate me. When it ended, the silence in the kitchen was absolute. Linda's face had gone white. David stared at the table like he could disappear into it. Amy was crying, but I didn't care anymore. Robert found his voice first. "Dad, wait. That's out of context. We were just worried about you." I said, "Shut up." I hit play on the next recording. Amy talking to her friend about how I didn't need the money, how I just made furniture nobody bought. Amy's crying got louder. "Dad, please." I stopped the recording. Looked at each of them. "Your mother was dying, fighting cancer, and you were planning how to carve up her husband." "Mr. Morrison," Linda started. "Don't." I cut her off. "Don't say a word to me. You're not family. You're just the one who taught my son how to steal." Linda's mouth snapped shut. I slid the envelopes across the table. "These are copies of your mother's actual will. The real one. Read them." Robert grabbed his, ripped it open. Read. His face went from pale to red. "This can't be legal." "It's legal." I kept my voice level. "Notarized. Filed. Everything goes to Matthew in a trust. I keep the house until I die. You three get nothing." Linda snatched the paper from Robert's hand. "When did she do this?" 2 weeks before she died, while you were planning my incompetency hearing." David finally spoke, voice quiet. "Dad, I'm sorry." "You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference." Amy reached across the table. "Daddy, please, I was desperate. You used your son as bait. Wednesday, you brought Matthew here so I'd stay soft before today. You left that property assessment on my counter so I'd know you were serious." I pulled back from her touch. "You're not sorry. You're caught." She crumpled, sobbing into her hands. Linda stood up, lunged for the radio. "Give me that drive." I blocked her. Didn't touch her, just stood between her and the evidence. "Touch it and I call the attorney. He has copies. May has copies. The police have copies." "You gave evidence to the police?" Robert's voice cracked. "Not yet. But I will if you fight this." Linda spun on Robert. "Do something." "Like what?" Robert's confidence was gone. "Sue him? Contest the will? With those recordings, we'd lose. And they'd become public record." "Your neighbors," I said. "Your employers. Your friends at church. Everyone would know what you are." The room went silent except for Amy's crying. David stood. Didn't look at me. "I'm leaving." He walked out. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't apologize. Just left. The door closed behind him. Robert tried one more time. "Dad, you're making a mistake. We're your children. We're family. Family doesn't do this." My voice came out harder than I intended. You missed your nephew's birthday to punish me for not dying fast enough. You conspired to steal everything your mother and I built. You used her death as an opportunity. We didn't. Get out of my house. Linda grabbed her folder, those unsigned transfer papers, and stood. You'll regret this, old man. You'll die alone, and when you're gone, no one will remember you. I'm already alone. You made sure of that. Now leave. Robert and Linda left. Linda slammed the door hard enough to rattle the windows. Amy stayed, sitting at my kitchen table, mascara running down her face, shaking. Amy, you too. Daddy, please. Just let me explain. I heard your explanation. On the baby monitor, when you called Robert to coordinate getting me to sign papers. I walked to the door, opened it. Get out. Can I still bring Matthew to visit? The question gutted me, but I kept my voice steady. That's up to the trust attorney now, not me. I know you'll never forgive me. Her voice broke completely. But I am sorry. I was weak and scared and Amy. Leave. She stood on shaking legs, walked past me, stopped at the threshold. I love you, Dad. I didn't answer. She got in her car, drove away. I closed the door, locked it. Something I never did before. Then I stood in my kitchen, 7 chairs, 1 person, and listened to the silence. The clock ticked. The refrigerator hummed. The house settled. No victory, no relief, just quiet. I don't know how long I stood there. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been an hour. My phone rang. May. I didn't answer. It rang again. I turned it off. Sat at the kitchen table as the light outside changed from afternoon gold to evening gray to dark. Didn't turn on the lights. Just sat. At some point, I noticed my coffee cup was empty. Didn't remember drinking it. Around 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. I turned it back on without thinking. Text from Amy. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve it. But I am sorry. I was weak and scared and cruel. I'm so sorry. I read it 3 times. Deleted it. Thought, maybe someday I could forgive her. Maybe. But not today. Not this year. Maybe not ever. Saturday morning, I woke up on the couch. Still dressed. Neck stiff. Coffee table covered with papers. Sarah's will, the recordings, the bank statements. Evidence of my children's betrayal spread across my living room. 5:30 a.m. I made coffee, went to May's diner even though it was Saturday and she didn't open until 6 on weekends. She was there anyway. Saw my truck pull up, unlocked the door. Didn't say anything, just poured coffee, slid a plate of eggs across the counter. We sat in silence for 20 minutes. Finally, you did it? Yeah. How'd they take it? Linda tried to grab the recordings. David walked out without a word. Robert threatened lawyers. Amy cried. And you? I'm still here. May nodded. That's something. She refilled my coffee, sat down across from me. Jack, I'm proud of you. Those words nearly broke me. I looked down at my cup, blinking hard. Doesn't feel like something to be proud of. Standing up for yourself never feels good at first. Give it time. She squeezed my hand. What happens now? I don't know. Park said the will's ironclad. If they contest it, the recordings go public, so they probably won't. What about Matthew? That was the question that kept me up all night. I don't know. The trust controls visitation now. Park and you. Me? Sarah named you co-trustee. Didn't I mention that? May's eyes went wide. Sarah named me? Said in her notes you were the only person she trusted completely, besides me. May looked away, wiping her eyes. That woman, even dead, she's looking out for people. Yeah. We sat there until the sun came up through the diner windows. May's other regulars started arriving. She got up to serve them, but kept checking on me. Around 7:30, my phone buzzed. James Park, checking in. How did it go? Me. It's done. They know. Park. Any threats? Me. Nothing serious. They left. Park. Good. Call me Monday. We'll discuss next steps. I pocketed the phone. Tom Patterson came into the diner, my neighbor, the one who'd seen me sitting outside Robert's house. He spotted me, hesitated, then came over. Jack, good to see you. Morning, Tom. Listen, I heard some things. Don't know if they're true, don't need to know. Just wanted to say you're a good man. Whatever you're dealing with, you've got friends. He clapped me on the shoulder and walked away before I could respond. Small towns. Everybody knows everything. But for once, that felt like support instead of gossip. I spent the rest of Saturday in the workshop. Couldn't stand being in the house with those 7 chairs and all that empty space. Sanded wood, took orders, fixed a broken table leg for Carol Patterson, Tom's wife, kept my hands busy. Around 4 p.m., there was a knock on the workshop door. Reverend Paulson. Heard you might need company. How'd you hear? Tom stopped by the church. Didn't say much, but I put it together. He stepped inside, looked around. Can I sit? Sure. He sat on my work stool. I kept sanding. You want to talk about it? Not really. Fair enough. He watched me work. That's beautiful craftsmanship. It's a side table for the Hendersons' anniversary. How long have you been doing this? 46 years. Started when I was 22, right after Sarah and I got married. That's a long time to build things. Yeah. He was quiet for a while. Then, you know what I respect about carpentry? You can't fake it. A chair either holds weight or it doesn't. A joint is either sound or it falls apart. There's honesty in it. I stopped sanding, looked at him. That's why you're good at it, Jack. You're an honest man, always have been. My throat got tight. Doesn't feel honest. Feel like I just blew up my family. No, they blew it up. You just refused to pretend it wasn't already in pieces. He stood up. That's different. After he left, I finished the side table. It was the best work I'd done in months. Every joint perfect, every edge smooth. I delivered it to the Hendersons that evening. They were in their 70s, married 52 years. Mrs. Henderson ran her hand over the wood. Jack, this is gorgeous. Glad you like it. Mr. Henderson paid me. Added an extra 20. For the craftsmanship. Walking back to my truck, I thought, this is what matters. Building things that last. Doing good work. Keeping your word. My kids could take the money. They couldn't take this. Sunday, I didn't go to church again. Couldn't face more questions, more sympathy, more people knowing my business. Monday, I woke up and couldn't get out of bed. Not physically couldn't, just didn't see the point. The house was too quiet. The walls felt like they were pressing in. I called May, told her I wasn't coming for breakfast. You okay? Just need a day. Jack, I'm fine, May. Just tired. I hung up before she could argue. Spent Monday in the workshop. Didn't work on anything. Just sat on the stool staring at the walls. Tuesday was worse. Didn't shower. Didn't shave. Made coffee but didn't drink it. Just let it sit on the workbench going cold while I stared at nothing. The toy truck, Matthew's truck, sat on the shelf. Mocking me. I'd made it for his birthday party. The one where nobody came. Felt like 100 years ago. My phone rang. May, I didn't answer. Again, I turned it off. Around noon, Tom Patterson knocked on the workshop door, saw me through the window. Jack, you okay in there? Fine, Tom. Just working. Haven't seen you out in a couple days. Carol made extra pot roast if you want some. I'm good, thanks. He stood there for a minute, uncertain. Finally left. I sat back down. The thing nobody tells you about standing up for yourself is what comes after. The silence. The empty space where your family used to be. I'd won. I'd protected myself and Matthew. I'd done the right thing. So why did it feel like I'd lost everything? Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about Amy's text. I'm sorry. Kept hearing that recording. He trusts me. Around 3 a.m., I got up. Went to my laptop. Barely knew how to use the thing, but I managed. Looked up apartments in Montana. Studios, one-bedrooms, places where nobody knew Jack Morrison or his story. I could sell the house to my kids, give them what they wanted, take $100,000 and disappear. Start over, where I didn't have to see their faces in the grocery store or hear the gossip at church. Matthew would grow up thinking Grandpa moved away for his health. Never know the truth. Keep his innocence. Clean ending. No explosions. No burned bridges. I found a listing. Mountain View. $600 a month. Available immediately. My finger hovered over Contact Landlord. Saw Matthew's drawing on the workshop wall through the window. Grandpa's place in crayon. Couldn't click. If I ran, I'd be teaching Matthew that bullies win. That when things get hard, you disappear. But if I stayed, I closed the laptop, sat on the kitchen floor with my back against the cabinets. First time since Sarah's funeral, I prayed. Really prayed. I don't know what to do. She knew what to do. I don't. No answer came. Just the refrigerator humming, the clock ticking, the house settling around me. I stayed there until dawn. Wednesday, 6 a.m. Someone knocking. Persistent. Wouldn't stop. I opened the door. May stood there with a casserole dish and a look that meant business. Move. She pushed past me into the kitchen, set the casserole down, opened windows, started making coffee. When's the last time you showered? I don't know. Go shower. Now. I'll wait. May, I'm fine. You're not fine. You're sitting in this house drowning. So go shower, shave, put on clean clothes. Then we're going to talk. Something in her voice. I went. 30 minutes later, I came back. Clean, shaved, still hollow inside, but presentable. May had made eggs, toast, fresh coffee, set a plate in front of me. Eat. I ate. Didn't taste anything, but I ate. When I finished, she sat down across from me. You thinking about running? How'd you? Because I thought about it too. After my son. Thought about selling the diner, moving to Florida, pretending I never had a kid. She sipped her coffee. You want to know why I didn't? Why? Because he'd win. He'd get to tell himself I died or disappeared, that he wasn't the villain. I stayed so every time he drives past that diner, if he ever comes back, he has to know. His mother is here, and she knows what he is. That sounds like torture. Some days it is. But it's honest torture. Better than living a lie in Florida. She leaned forward. Jack, I know this hurts. I know you feel like you lost everything. But you didn't. You lost people who were taking from you. That's different. I don't want Matthew to know his mother's a thief. So don't tell him, but don't let her rob you either. May's voice got firm. You can protect Matthew and protect yourself. Sarah's will does that. You just have to be strong enough to live with the choice. What if I'm not? Then you're not. But I think you are. Sarah thought you were. That's why she left you the evidence. I drank my coffee, hands steadier than they'd been in days. So I just keep living? Pretend I don't have kids anymore? You don't pretend anything. You live honestly. Go to the diner. Work in your shop. See Matthew when the trust allows it. Build a life that's smaller but real. Smaller but real, I repeated. Yeah. She stood up, started washing dishes. May? Yeah? Thank you for not letting me quit. She looked at me over her shoulder. That's what friends do, Jack. Real friends. The ones who stay. After she left, I sat at the table for a long time. Then I got up, went to the workshop, pulled out the Henderson Commission, a bookshelf, started working. My hands remembered what to do even when my heart didn't. Measure twice. Cut once. Sand with the grain. The basics. The things that don't change. Thursday afternoon, James Park called. Mr. Morrison, checking in. Any contact from your children? Nothing. That's good. Means they're not fighting the will. A pause. Have you thought about visitation with Matthew? Every minute. The trust allows for supervised visits. May would be present as co-trustee. Would that work for you? I don't want Matthew to feel like he's being watched. We can keep it casual. Maybe May just happens to be there, Saturday morning visits at your workshop. That could work. I'll coordinate with Amy. She doesn't have a choice. The trust controls access. But we'll keep it civil for Matthew's sake. After I hung up, I looked at the calendar. Saturday was 3 days away. I had 3 days to figure out how to act normal around my grandson when his mother had tried to steal everything from me. 3 days to decide if I could separate Amy the thief from Amy the mother of my grandson, I didn't know if I could, but I'd try. For Matthew. Friday morning, I went back to May's diner. First time since Monday. The regulars looked up when I walked in. A few nodded. A few looked away. Tom Patterson stood up, came over. Good to see you, Jack. You too, Tom. I sat in my usual booth. May poured coffee without a word. Slid eggs across the counter. We didn't talk. Didn't need to. I ate breakfast. Drank coffee. Read the paper. Normal. Or close enough. Around 7, Carol Patterson came in, saw me, came straight over. Jack, I wanted to tell you, that side table you made, it's the most beautiful thing in our house. Tom sits there every morning with his coffee, just admiring the workmanship. Glad you're enjoying it. We are. You're a true craftsman. She squeezed my shoulder. Don't let anyone tell you different. After she left, I realized this was what I had left. Not my kids, but this community. People who valued good work. Friends who showed up. It was smaller than a family, but it was real. Friday night, I cleaned the workshop, swept sawdust, organized tools, made space for Matthew, set the toy truck on the workbench where he'd see it first thing, pulled out materials for a simple project, a wooden box, something he could make himself, feel proud of. May texted, tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll be there with cinnamon rolls. We'll make it good for him. Me. Thank you. May. Stop thanking me. This is what family does. Real family. I sat on the porch until midnight, watched stars, listened to the screen door creak in the wind. Tomorrow Matthew would come. I'd teach him to sand wood, to measure, to build something that lasts. His mother had betrayed me. His uncles had abandoned me. But Matthew was innocent. And I'd protect that innocence as long as I could, even if it killed me. Even if I had to pretend his mother wasn't a thief every time she dropped him off, I'd do it. Because that's what grandpas do. They protect their grandkids, no matter the cost. Saturday morning, 8:30, I'd been up since 5, made coffee, cleaned the house, changed my shirt twice. 9 o'clock, May's truck pulled into the driveway. She had a tin of cinnamon rolls and a thermos of coffee. You ready? No. Good. That means you care. She set the rolls on the porch rail. Jack, just be yourself. He's a kid. He doesn't need perfect. He needs his grandpa. 9:15. Amy's Honda appeared at the end of the driveway. My chest tightened. The car stopped. Matthew jumped out, backpack on, grinning. Amy stayed in the driver's seat, window down. She waved. Small, uncertain. I waved back. Small gesture. Enormous weight. She drove away. Matthew ran to the workshop. Grandpa, Mom said you have something for me. I followed him inside. May stayed on the porch, giving us space but present. Trust requirements met without making it obvious. Matthew stopped when he saw the toy truck on the workbench. You finished it. Yeah, your grandma wanted you to have it. She picked the design before she got sick. Not entirely true, but true enough. He picked it up, turned it over in his hands. The wheels spun smooth. The detail work caught the light. It's perfect. You like it? I love it. He hugged the truck to his chest, then hugged me. Thank you, Grandpa. Something in my chest that had been broken for 2 weeks shifted. Not healed, but shifted. You want to make something today? His eyes went huge. Really? Can I use tools? Not the saw yet, but you can sand. I pulled out the materials I'd prepared. We're going to make you a box for keeping treasures. We worked until noon. I showed him how to hold the sandpaper, with the grain never against, how to measure twice, cut once, though I did the cutting, how to check if edges were square. His hands were small and clumsy. He made mistakes. Sanded too hard in one spot, not hard enough in another. It was the best morning I'd had in months. May brought out cinnamon rolls around 10, sat on the porch with her own coffee, reading a book, there but not hovering. At noon, Amy's car pulled back up. Matthew ran to show her the box. Mom, look, I made this. Through the window, I watched Amy's face. She was looking at the box, at Matthew's pride, at me in the background. Our eyes met. She mouthed, "Thank you." I nodded. Not forgiveness. Acknowledgement. She might earn forgiveness someday. She might not. But today, Matthew was happy, and that was enough. After they left, May came into the workshop. That looked good. Yeah. You okay? I don't know. Seeing her is hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's how you know you're doing it right. May picked up a piece of scrap wood, ran her fingers over it. Jack, can I tell you something? Always. My son, the one who stole from me? Last year he called. First time in 9 years. I looked up. What did he say? He apologized, said he'd been in therapy, said he understood what he'd done, asked if we could talk. What did you do? I said no. She set the wood down. Not because I couldn't forgive him, because I wasn't ready. Maybe someday I will be, but it has to be on my terms, my timeline, not his. Does he still call? Every few months, leaves messages. I don't answer. She looked at me. What I'm saying is, you get to decide what forgiveness looks like. You get to decide when, if ever. Don't let anyone rush you. Amy's Matthew's mother. And you're Matthew's grandfather. You can be in his life without forgiving her. Those are separate things. After May left, I sat in the workshop for a long time, looking at Matthew's half-finished box next to my current projects. 2 generations of work, side by side. The phone rang. Attorney Park. Mr. Morrison. Good news. No contest filed on the will. The deadline passed yesterday. It's final. Relief washed over me. So it's over? Legally, yes. The trust is active. Matthew's inheritance is protected. Your life estate is secure. A pause. How was the visit this morning? Good. Really good. I'm glad. May sent me photos of Matthew working. That's exactly what your wife wanted. You teaching him, passing on your skills. She'd be proud. After we hung up, I went to Sarah's photo on the workbench. 45 years of marriage staring back at me. I hope I did right by you, by Matthew, by me. The shop was quiet. Just the sound of wind through the open door, birds outside, the world continuing. I picked up the sandpaper, got back to work on the Henderson bookshelf. My hands were steady. My mind was clearer than it had been in weeks. I'd lost my children. That was true, but I'd kept my grandson, my integrity, my home. I'd stood up for myself, finally, and I was still here, smaller, quieter, lonelier. But mine. 2 weeks passed. Matthew came every Saturday. We worked on his box, lid, hinges, latch. By the third week it was finished. He kept his toy truck in it. My first treasure, he said. Amy dropped him off, picked him up. We waved to each other, kept distance. It worked. May came by most evenings. We'd sit on the porch, drink coffee, say nothing. Comfortable silence between people who'd earned it. The third Saturday, after Matthew left, I was cleaning up the workshop when I heard a car pull in. Not Amy's schedule. She'd just picked Matthew up an hour ago. I walked outside, Amy's Honda. But she was alone. She got out of the car slowly. Stood by the driver's door, not approaching. Dad, can I talk to you? Every instinct said no. Send her away. Keep the boundaries clear. But something in her face. She looked smaller, tired, real. 5 minutes. She walked to the porch steps, sat on the bottom one. The same spot Matthew had sat during his ruined birthday party. I sat on the top step. Distance between us. I'm not here to apologize again, she started. I know you're tired of hearing it, and I know it doesn't fix anything. I waited. I just wanted to tell you, I'm in therapy, started 2 weeks ago, talking about why I did what I did, about the divorce, about money, about how I treated you. Okay. The therapist asked me what I was most ashamed of. You know what I said? I didn't answer. Using Matthew, bringing him here that Wednesday before the meeting, using him to keep you soft. That's the thing I can't forgive myself for. Her voice cracked. He's 10 years old, and I weaponized him against his grandfather. The wind moved through the trees. The screen door creaked. I can't take it back, she continued. I can't undo the recordings, the planning, the greed, but I can try to be better. For Matthew. For me. She looked up at me. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just telling you, I'm trying. I studied her face, looking for manipulation, for the performance. Didn't see it. Saw shame, exhaustion, something that might be genuine. Amy, I can't trust you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I know. But if you're really trying to be better, if you're really in therapy doing the work, then I respect that. For Matthew's sake. She nodded, wiped her eyes. Can I keep bringing him on Saturdays? The trust allows it, so yes. Thank you. She stood up, started to leave, turned back. Dad? That box he made. He keeps it on his nightstand. Shows everyone who comes over. Talks about how you taught him to sand with the grain. A small smile. You're a good grandpa. I'm sorry I tried to take that away from him. She got in her car, drove away. I sat on those steps until dark. Thought about May's son, 9 years of no contact, then calls every few months. Thought about forgiveness. How it's not a switch you flip. It's a door you open slowly, testing the hinges, ready to slam it shut if needed. Amy was trying. Maybe. Time would tell if it was real. But for now, for Matthew, I could live with maybe. 4 weeks after the confrontation, life found a rhythm. Not the life I'd had before. That was gone. But a life. Saturdays with Matthew in the workshop. May's diner every morning at 5:30. Church on Sundays. I'd started going again. Reverend Paulson welcomed me back without questions. Orders coming in steady. The Henderson bookshelf led to 3 more commissions. Word was getting around. Jack Morrison does good work. Robert and David, I hadn't heard from. Not a word. May said David moved out of state. Robert and Linda were still in town, but we didn't cross paths. Small mercies. Amy kept bringing Matthew, kept going to therapy. We didn't talk much, but the air between us was less poisoned, more like a wound healing, still sore, but not infected. And then one Wednesday morning, 5:40 a.m., I pulled up to May's diner and saw Amy sitting on the bench outside. Her car wasn't there. She'd walked 2 miles from her apartment. I parked, sat in the truck for a minute, deciding. Finally got out. Amy, what are you doing here? She looked up. No makeup, hair in a ponytail, worn jeans and one of my old work shirts I'd given her years ago when she helped me paint the workshop. I couldn't sleep. Been walking since 4. Ended up here. She stood. I know this is your place. I can go. May opens in 20 minutes. You want coffee? She blinked, surprised. Yeah. Okay. We sat on that bench in the pre-dawn dark, not talking, just waiting. May pulled up at 5:55. Saw us both, raised an eyebrow but didn't comment. Come on in then. We followed her inside. May started the coffee, turned on the griddle. Amy and I sat in my usual booth, her on one side, me on the other. May brought 2 cups. Set them down without a word. Amy wrapped her hands around hers like she was cold. I'm not here to ask for anything, she said. I just needed to tell you something. Okay. I got a job. Full-time, administrative assistant at the community college. Benefits, decent pay, enough to get off Mike's child support and stop being desperate. She looked at me. It doesn't fix what I did, but at least I won't do it again. That's good, Amy. Really. My therapist says I need to stop waiting for you to forgive me. That forgiveness is your choice, your timeline. I need to just focus on being better. Your therapist is right. She nodded, sipped her coffee. Matthew asks about you every day, talks about what you're teaching him. He wants to be a carpenter when he grows up. That hit me harder than it should have. He's got time to figure out what he wants. Yeah, but it's nice, him having someone to look up to. Someone solid. Her voice got quieter. I'm sorry I almost took that from him. May brought eggs, set them down, squeezed my shoulder as she passed. We ate in silence. When we finished, Amy stood. I should go. Let you have your morning. Amy? She stopped. You walked here? Yeah. I'll drive you home. Dad, you don't have to. I know. The drive was quiet. 5 minutes through empty streets, early light just starting to show. I pulled up to her apartment complex. She unbuckled, hand on the door. Dad, thank you for not hating me. I don't hate you, Amy. I'm just not there yet. I know, but you're here. That's more than I deserve. She got out, walked to her building, turned and waved before going inside. I waved back, drove to the diner. May was waiting with fresh coffee. That was kind of you. She's still my daughter, even if I can't trust her yet. Sarah would be proud of you, walking that line between boundaries and grace. I hope so. May sat down across from me. Jack, can I ask you something? Sure. Are you happy? I thought about it, really thought. No, I'm not happy, but I'm okay. I'm honest. I'm not being stolen from. Matthew's safe. I've got friends. I looked at her. It's not the life I wanted, but it's a life I can live with. Good enough, May said. For now, that's good enough. Saturday came. Matthew arrived at 9, running to the workshop like always. Grandpa, can we start a new project? What do you want to make? A birdhouse for Mom's balcony, so she can watch birds when she drinks her coffee. For his mother, the one who'd betrayed me. But Matthew didn't know that. To him, she was just Mom, imperfect but trying. A birdhouse it is. We worked all morning. I showed him how to cut the entrance hole, how to drill for ventilation, how to angle the roof for rain. His tongue stuck out while he concentrated, just like his mother used to do, just like I probably did at his age. 3 generations of Morrison determination passed down through sawdust and stubbornness. At noon, Amy came to pick him up. Matthew ran out with the half-finished birdhouse. Mom, look, for your balcony. Amy's eyes met mine over Matthew's head. She mouthed, Thank you. I nodded. After they left, May came to the porch with 2 glasses of sweet tea. You're doing good work, Jack. Not just the carpentry, the other kind. Doesn't feel like good work. Feels like barely holding on. That's what good work feels like most days. She clinked her glass against mine. To barely holding on. To barely holding on. We drank our tea. Watched the afternoon shadows lengthen across the yard. My phone buzzed. Text from Attorney Park. Trust account quarterly review attached. Matthew's inheritance growing steadily. College fully funded. Sarah would be pleased. I smiled. Sarah had thought of everything. Even from the grave, she was still protecting her grandson. What's that smile for? May asked. Just thinking about Sarah. How she knew exactly what she was doing. Smart woman. The smartest. That evening, I was in the workshop when I heard footsteps on the porch. Reverend Paulson. Evening, Jack. Saw your light on. Evening, Reverend. Come on in. He stepped inside, looking around at the half-finished projects, the tools organized on pegboards, the sawdust covering everything. This is where the magic happens, huh? No magic, just work. Sometimes they're the same thing. He picked up a scrap piece of wood. Jack, I wanted to tell you, the congregation's been talking about getting new pews. They're asking for you specifically. Church pews? That's a big job. 6 months, maybe. Good pay. But more than that, it's respect. They want your craftsmanship in God's house. My throat got tight. I'd be honored. Good. I'll have the deacon call you Monday. He set the wood down. Jack, I'm proud of you. The way you've handled all this, not many men could. Most days I feel like I'm failing. That's how you know you're doing it right. The easy path never feels hard. He shook my hand. See you Sunday. After he left, I stood in the workshop for a long time. Church pews. 6 months of work. My craftsmanship in the place where I'd married Sarah, where we'd baptized our kids, where we'd said goodbye to her. It felt like coming full circle, like finding purpose in the ruins. Night fell. I locked up the workshop, walked to the house. Inside, I heated up May's leftover casserole, ate at the table, one place setting, but it didn't feel as empty as it used to. After dinner, I sat on the porch with coffee. The screen door creaked in the breeze. Stars came out one by one. My phone buzzed, Matthew's number, Amy's phone, but his message, Grandpa, I love my birdhouse. Can we paint it next week? Love Matthew. We can paint it. What color? Matthew. Blue like the sky. Me. Blue it is. See you Saturday, buddy. I set the phone down, smiled. Robert and David were gone. Maybe forever. Amy was trying. Maybe she'd make it, maybe she wouldn't. But Matthew was safe. The house was mine. The workshop was busy. And I was still here. Not the same man I was before. Harder, lonelier, warier, but honest. Standing on my own 2 feet, nobody stealing from me, nobody lying to me. It wasn't the family I'd wanted, but it was real, and real, even when it hurt, was better than false. I sat on that porch until midnight, drinking coffee that went cold, listening to the night sounds, and thought about Sarah. I did what you asked, I said to the darkness. Protected Matthew, protected myself. I hope you're proud. The wind picked up, moving through the trees, and I swear I heard her voice in it. I am. Maybe it was grief, maybe imagination, maybe memory. Didn't matter. I believed it. And that was enough. 6 months later, I'm in the workshop at dawn, same as always. Coffee brewing in Sarah's old percolator, the smell of pine sawdust and morning, but different now, too. Matthew's birdhouse hangs outside Amy's apartment. She sends me pictures sometimes. Cardinals nesting, baby birds learning to fly. The church pews are half finished. Best work I've ever done. Every joint perfect, every curve smooth. My legacy in wood and faith. May stops by most mornings before the diner opens. We drink coffee on the porch, say nothing, understand everything. Amy's still in therapy, still working, still trying. We have dinner once a month now, neutral ground, a diner 2 towns over. We talk about Matthew, the weather, her job, not about what happened. Maybe someday. Not yet. Robert and David, I haven't seen. Heard Robert got divorced. Heard David's doing okay in Arizona. I don't wish them harm, but I don't miss them either. Matthew comes every Saturday. Learned to use the handsaw last month. Careful and precise, tongue between his teeth, just like his grandma. Grandpa, he asked last week, why don't Uncle Robert and Uncle David ever visit? I thought for a long time before answering. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that hurt people, and sometimes the people who get hurt have to make choices too, about who gets to be close. He thought about that. Then, did they hurt you? Yeah, buddy, they did. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Me too. He hugged me. 10 years old and already understanding that love isn't automatic. That family means showing up, not just sharing blood. That's Sarah's real legacy, not the money, not the house. This boy learning to build things that last, learning that integrity matters more than comfort. I measure a piece of wood for the final pew. Mark it with a pencil. Check twice. Measure twice. Cut once. My father's rule, his father's before him. Some things you pass down through blood. But the best things, honesty, craftsmanship, the courage to stand alone when standing together, means lying. Those you pass down through time spent, through sawdust and patience, through showing up every Saturday morning, teaching small hands to sand with the grain. Outside, the sun's fully up now, birds starting their noise, the world continuing, indifferent to one old man's small victories and permanent losses. May's truck pulls into the driveway. 2 thermoses. Saturday ritual. We sit on the porch steps, same spot where Matthew sat watching for a family that never came. Same spot where Amy sat at dawn, trying to find her way back. Coffee? May offers. Every day, we drink in comfortable silence. Two people who chose each other when blood family failed. Who show up? Who stay? The screen door moves in the breeze behind us, creaking. I used to hate that sound. Now I leave it unlatched on purpose, proof that someone's here. That this house, this life, isn't empty. Just different, smaller, maybe, quieter. But mine, and I can live with that. I finish my coffee, stand up. May squeezes my shoulder as I pass. Same time tomorrow? Same time tomorrow. Back in the workshop, I pick up the saw. The wood is ready. The measurements are right. Time to build. Not for applause, not for gratitude, just because it's right. Because a man is known by what he makes and what he stands for. And Jack Morrison, 68, widower, carpenter, grandfather, stands for this. You don't exploit people who trust you. You don't let cruelty slide because it's family. You protect the innocent even when it costs you everything. You keep your word to the dead. You teach the next generation what matters, and you live with the consequences, whatever they are. The saw bites into wood. Clean, true. I'm building the last pew for First Baptist Church, the place where I married Sarah, where we baptized our children, where we said goodbye, where Matthew will sit someday, maybe with his own grandkids, and point to these pews and say, "My grandpa made these." That's legacy, not money, not land. Work that lasts, values that endure. Showing up. I work until noon, then clean up for Matthew's visit. He'll be here at 1. We're finishing a chessboard today. His idea, his design. The boy's got talent. More than that, he's got heart. Sarah would be proud. Hell, I'm proud. Outside, a car pulls up. Right on time. Amy waves from the driver's seat. Matthew jumps out, backpack flying. "Grandpa, I brought lunch. Mom made sandwiches." I wave back to Amy. She smiles, small, uncertain, but real. I smile back. Not forgiveness, not yet, but not hatred either. Just two people trying to do right by a boy who deserves better than we gave him. Matthew runs to the workshop, and I follow. Behind me, the screen door creaks. The sound of home. The sound of someone here. The sound of a life rebuilt from ashes, smaller than before, but honest. And honest, even when it hurts, is always enough.